Hi, I'm Bo Blackwell, Director of Education for ClickBank. In this video on optimizing conversions, we're going to talk about how to write effective sales copy. Now, this is something that is incredibly important to any type of product or offer that you're trying to sell to an audience or even to get people to sign up for your mailing list. But it's one of the things that a lot of people struggle with or find really daunting. So we're going to jump in today and talk about some of the ways that you can either get started writing effective copy or improve the copy that you already have. Now, the first key is to really know your audience. You really need to do some research about who the product is targeted towards and get beyond just the kind of general things like it's for women or it's for moms or things like that, and really start to understand them on a deeper level. So things like, what are the problems that they face? What are the problems that your product can solve for them? That's going to be one of the biggest things that's going to compel people to buy your product. What are the pains that they face? What do they struggle with on a daily basis? That sort of thing. What are their desires and goals? Where would they like to be that your product can help them get there? If you can think about what that end result is that they're really looking for and kind of what the underlying desire is, maybe not the surface desire. So, for example, the surface desire might be to lose weight, but really what they're wanting is to feel better about themselves, to feel younger, to feel healthier, to be attractive to their partner or something like that. So, really think about what those underlying desires might be. What are some objections that might they have to your product or to, kind of getting where they want to go? For example, again with the weight loss thing, someone saying, I don't have time to go to the gym and work out. I don't like going to the gym. I can't lift weights because I have a bad back or something like that. What are the objections that they're going to come up with that you can address in your copy? So you might say, you don't have to go to the gym. This is stuff that you can do at home. Uh, this is low impact stuff that's not going to be bad for your back or for your knees, so anyone can do it. This is something you can do in 10 or 15 minutes a day. It doesn't require a lot of time and dedication. You can do it in your living room while you watch TV or something like that. Just figure out where they're going to come up with excuses or objections why they can't use your product so that you can counteract those in your copy. What's the lingo that they use? So, you know, you may want to talk to people if you're a kind of scientifically minded person or a real detail oriented person, you might talk to them in one style, but the audience talks in a different style, depending on their demographics, depending on their what are called psychographics. So, if you're talking to a specific group of people, do they use the same kind of language that you use? And if there's a disconnect there, you may need to change your copy up a little bit to kind of match how they talk. Use the sort of words they use. If you're talking to an experienced business audience, use some corporate lingo. If you're talking to younger people or people that are not real formal, don't use formal language or it's going to come off as not a good fit for them, and it may prevent them from wanting to buy from you if they feel like you don't really understand them. What are their values that they hold? What's important to them? Is it family? Is it feeling good? Is it having freedom? Is it feeling competent in whatever type of activity they're trying to do? So if it's a hobby or something like that, do they want to feel like they can master it quickly and feel good about themselves? So think about what those values are that someone's going to be coming to your offer with so that you can make sure that your language kind of supports that and demonstrates to them that you understand them. And then what are the other resources that they may have already looked at or that they're going to run across when they're looking at your offer or interested in this niche? So who are the other big authors? Can you reference them in your copy and say, I learned this from Seth Godin or from Tim Ferriss or whoever it might be in your particular niche that you could reference and say, yeah, I've learned from them as well. I'm familiar with them, and I've taken it my own direction, and I have kind of my own spin on things. So what are the other books that they read? What are the websites or forums that they're on? That sort of thing. So if you're trying to learn about your audience and you're not quite sure where to get started, if you're in the niche, you may know something about the audience already, but if you'd like to get a better sense, there are a lot of different ways that you can do that. So there are a couple of websites called Quantcast and Compete, and you can just put .com after those names, and that'll take you to their websites. And basically what those do is that you can enter in websites like a URL, and it will tell you a lot of information about the readership of those websites. So the way that you can use that is you could take a popular website that you know is in your niche, like say healthy living, or if you're in the gardening niche, if it's a popular gardening website, Home and Garden or something like that, you can put that into Quantcast and it will tell you all this information about that audience of that website. So what percentage are men versus women? What are the average ages? What kind of income do they make? What other websites do they visit? Which can be a great way to do more research about, what are these people reading and who do they follow? It can also be good sources of advertising potentially if you're finding out what websites they're visiting. So you can use these to learn a lot about kind of the breakdowns of audiences for particular websites in your area. You could even do it for other ClickBank sales pages if you're in a particular niche where there's some competition. It depends on how much traffic they get, whether they're going to return useful information or not, but this can be a great place to get started. Another great way to learn about your audience is to buy magazines. Go to the bookstore or go onto Amazon and look at magazines in that niche. Look at the types of headlines that they have. If you can get a paper copy of the magazine, go through the back and look at the advertisements that are in there. Who are they talking to? What are the kind of pain points that they're addressing? What are the desires that they're addressing? So magazines are a great way to get a lot of information about what types of stuff your target audience is thinking about and talking about, because magazines do a lot of research on what topics are going to make people interested enough to buy the magazines. Next up is going to forums in your space. So, here are just a few kind of examples of different niche forums. And you can basically just go and start reading, start participating, asking questions. You don't want to go on and start pitching a product to people, but ask them what they're struggling with, or ask them, what they'd love to accomplish in the next year. And then you can use that to get great information for your sales copy. And it's a great way too to get a sense of that lingo that I was talking about earlier, and make sure that the way you talk sounds like the way that these people talk when they're on a forum. Yahoo Answers is another great place to go to kind of get a sense for the types of problems that people might be struggling with in your space. So, people will go on there and ask questions that you could take that and make sure that in your copy you're addressing that. If someone's saying, I don't understand how to lose weight when I only have 15 minutes a day to work out, you can take that and say, I can get you, results in 15 minutes a day by introducing exercises that burn fat quickly and don't require a lot of time, or just that sort of thing. So it's a good place to go and look for what kind of stuff people are talking about or issues that they might be running into. And another way is to join Facebook groups for that niche. In there, people are going to be talking, they're going to be posting things and asking each other questions. So it's a great way to get an insight into what kind of language people are asking, who is in that target market, since you can typically see at least things like gender or pictures of people, so you can kind of get a sense for who your target audience is. So one of the biggest keys to successful copywriting, and it's something that people mess up all the time, and it takes practice to get good at, is to sell the benefits of your product instead of features. So it's a little bit hard to explain, but basically features talk about what you're going to get in the product itself, what I'm going to teach you. The benefits are, how does that actually result in something for the person? What are they going to get out of it personally? And one good way that I've heard it referenced is benefits are more about how it makes them feel and sort of what, how they're going to feel about themselves after they get the result. So let's look at some examples. So a feature might be, my product teaches you 10 proven fat burning exercises. That's great, but it doesn't really talk about what that result is going to be for the person, that they're going to get something deeper out of it. So my product shows you 10 exercises that are so easy and fun. It's not going to be a lot of work. They're going to have a good time doing it, that you'll be excited to work out. It's working out is something that a lot of people dread and they don't look forward to. So the result from your product and the benefit from your product is that they're actually going to be pumped up and excited to do this, and they'll want to stick with it. You'll feel years younger and have more energy than ever. So those are the benefits. They're going to feel younger and they're going to have more energy. Another example, this would be in the beer brewing niche. You'll learn my secrets to brewing great beer. That's okay, but you'll learn my secret to brewing beer that will wow your friends, even if you're totally new to brewing. So, why does somebody want to brew beer? Maybe it's out of a personal sense of accomplishment, but probably they're going to want to share it with their friends, and they're going to want their friends to be impressed, obviously. They don't want their friends to be disgusted by the beer they brew. So, they're going to wow their friends. They're going to make their friends jealous, or, be really impressive in their social circle or that sort of thing. So that's one of the benefits. And then the other benefit is the even if you're totally new part. So even a newbie can do this. You don't need to be scared of it. I'm going to walk you through this and show you the easiest way to do it. So one easy way that I've learned, and I can't remember who I heard this from, but it's an awesome technique. It's using the so method. So a lot of people tend to write a bullet point and leave it at that, and they end up looking like those features I demonstrated on the last slide. So what you're going to do is you say so, and then talk about the benefit that they get out of it. So here's an example. You'll learn the 10 types of food you should avoid so you can stop counting calories and enjoy eating again. So it begins with a feature and ends with a benefit. And a lot of copywriters will recommend that you then end up going back and potentially even removing the feature just to make it shorter and snappier, and just leave the benefit in there. But if you're struggling to come up with benefits, or you're worried that you are writing about features instead, you can add that so onto the end and then talk about what they're going to get out of it. So a couple more examples. Learn the right way to talk to your teenager so you can feel closer than ever and trust them completely. So the learn the right way to talk to them is the feature, and feeling closer and trusting them completely is the benefit. That one may be a stretch, by the way. I'll give you quick and easy recipes you can prepare in minutes so you can finally have some time to yourself. So that's really, when I talked earlier, what's the underlying desire? What are they really hoping to get out of this? If they're buying a cookbook of quick and easy recipes, their real desire is to have more time to themselves. So that's the benefit that they get out of it. So I hope you see how that so method makes it really easy to turn the feature into the benefit. So I'd recommend you go back and try that on your existing copy to see if you can get more benefits out of it. So yeah, what you'll teach and then the result they'll get. That's sort of the formula for how to write those. So the next thing is to be believable in your copy. Customers are savvier than ever. People have been bombarded by marketing messages. They are kind of skeptical and cynical. So if you oversell things, it's going to set off alarm bells and potentially turn some people off. So, make sure that your copy is something where they feel like, yeah, I could achieve this. Testimonials are a good way to do that. But you got to make sure that people can really see the believability of it, that they could actually accomplish that themselves, and that it's not this crazy overstated sales message. Another reason you want to be believable, and this kind of comes from some things I've heard Gary Vaynerchuk, the social media expert, say, is word gets around like never before. You can't hide if you oversell things and people get bad results out of it. People will blog about it, they'll post about it on social media. There are more and more kind of review websites out there where people can give things bad ratings. So you want to make sure that when people buy your product, that it ends up delivering on the sales messages that you've put out there. Another reason for that is that you want to stay out of trouble with regulatory and pseudo-regulatory agencies. So, from a real regulatory standpoint, the Federal Trade Commission, the FTC, and then pseudo-regulatory agencies too, like Google and to some extent even ClickBank. People are starting to take a much harder look at overstated sales messaging and overpromising. So just don't even try to go that route, because even if it works now, it won't work for very long. More and more agencies are starting to crack down on that sort of thing, and it's not worth the trouble you could potentially get in. So the next thing that you can do is the wow factor. You want to wow people in your copy while still being believable and still being compliant, but you want to wow them on a few aspects of it. So wow them with the result they're going to get. A lot of people may come into a product. This one's a diet and fitness product. They may come in saying, yeah, I've gone to the gym before, it didn't work, and I lost 5 pounds in a few months, but it wasn't that great, and it was a lot of work. So in this one, they're demonstrating, wow, this is a person who was very overweight, and now she's an endurance athlete. That's a wow result. I mean, that's a product really doing something amazing for the audience. And so with testimonials, you can demonstrate those wow results while still being completely compliant and completely believable. You also want to wow them with the value. So I spoke about this in the pricing video, but when there's a niche where people could spend a lot of money, time, or effort to get the results, you can wow them with the value by demonstrating to them that by buying your product, they're going to get the same results as if they spent thousands of dollars working with a personal trainer or taking night school classes or doing travel and buying flights and hotels and taxis. If you can show them how to save a lot of money. So there are a lot of niches listed here where um, your product can demonstrate a huge amount of value if you're giving them shortcuts, if you're giving them insider tips that they wouldn't be able to get on their own, if they can avoid having to pay huge fees or buy expensive equipment. So that's a great way to wow people with value. You can also wow people with bonuses on your sales page. Bonuses have always been a pretty effective way to kind of put the value of a product over the top and get people really excited and invested in it, because they're not just getting the one product, they're getting 5 products. You see this on infomercials all the time where they sell you on getting one of this item, and then, oh wow, they're going to throw in a second one of it completely free. That's amazing. So you can do a similar kind of thing, and it's easy in the information product space to develop supplementary materials or things that add on, and even some of them can be bonus items that you get from other info product vendors, and you can add those onto yours to make your product even more compelling and interesting to people. So here are a couple examples. One on the left is from a model train product that we have on ClickBank, and it gives extra bonuses for building your model railroad. In the paleo recipe book on the right, you get all kinds of extra bonus material, desserts, quick and simple meals. So those are the types of things that you can add on as bonuses. So that's it for this video. Up next, we're going to talk about pricing. So I'll see you then. Thanks.